I think it's important for us to openly show that we're proud of feeding our children.
The more we can normalise it, the better. The more people see other women feeding, the more that they can look at it and say, actually, that's okay. If she can do it, I can do it. It's not as scary. And I think the more we see it, the more it will happen.
Being able to empower women to just feel comfortable and confident to just feed, express wherever, whenever they need to.
Because the hard thing is now bottle feeding is the norm, and breastfeeding is the difference, even though it should be the other way around.
Like, I'm happy I breastfeed because I've normalised it for my son. So when my son grows up, or when my son goes into society and he's an adult and he sees women breastfeeding, are you going to find it strange?
No.
When you have a child when you get older, would you want your partner to breastfeed?
Of course.
See? Normalised.
Once you breastfeed once, you see so many people breastfeeding that you never saw before, and they don't look like they're breastfeeding, they look like they're cuddling their babies, and it's just like a whole world that you don't realise is there until you've done it once, and then you're like, oh, they're breastfeeding.
You can see breastfeeding happening, and you're learning more about breastfeeding and seeing it happen everywhere. That helps to make it all normal.
Yeah.
Well, that's also why it's actually quite nice to be in a car park in central Cambridge on a busy Saturday. You know, in a way, it's a strange place to be, but entirely appropriate.
It's not about what the individual does, it's about how we fail the individual and how we need to uplift and support and say, actually, this is okay. Yes. If you want to do this, what can we do to make this easy?
We look at each individual moms that we can support, that we can't change the world, but we can change the world of that mom.
It's also about women supporting each other and just letting everyone know that it's okay to breastfeed your child when they're hungry, no matter where you are.
My baby's hungry, I'm going to feed my baby right now, I'm going to sit down here, I'm going to feed my baby. That's the way it should be, not like, it's not the right place, and there's no breastfeeding corner. It shouldn't be like that.
I breastfed in so many public places. I went on holiday, I breastfed on the aeroplane, I breastfed in the airport, I breastfed all over the place.
I've breastfed in loads of places around the UK and a few different countries in Europe as well. Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France. So nobody's ever said anything to me about it.
I breastfed in in a garage because I had to take my car in for an MOT. This is a very small waiting area, so there's a line of 4 chairs in front of me, and there's 3 men sitting there, and there's 1 seat in the middle, and then there's 1 seat opposite them by the door. I was thinking, well, where do I go? Do I kind of fit in the middle of them and breastfeed, or do I sit opposite them? I decided I'm just going to sit among them.
I did think I was going to have a confrontation once in a restaurant, and a lady came up to me and I thought, oh no, please don't tell me to stop, because I can't. And she came and complimented me.
You're talking about the most public place I've probably fed. It was probably something like Alton Towers. So again, we went for my older daughter's birthday, and they had all the Halloween stuff out, and she needed a feed, so just kind of sat next to one of the giant pumpkins that they had out and gave her a feed, really.
Even though I did want a long sleeve dress, that was always in the back of my mind. If I do get a long sleeve dress, what am I going to do if Larry wants to feed? So I thought, I can't just take my dress off. Till I put it on the day, and I was like, can I feed in it? And I was like, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can feed in it. And then she just helped herself anyway, so I was like, oh well, that was easy.
Wherever I've been for the last 18 months, I've been breastfeeding, so public transport, cafes, restaurants. There's no sort of, I'm not making a statement each time, I'm not interrupting anybody else's day or anything, I'm just literally feeding my baby.
We found out that she was going to have a cleft lip and probably a palate as well. I knew kind of from the outset, I suppose, that breastfeeding was going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible. I wanted to be able to give her the same as the others and all the benefits for me and for her of breastfeeding, which has kind of led us down exclusively expressing for her. And I guess I suppose we've just transferred those same feelings of just, you do what you need to do when you need to do it across to expressing.
And I was in the queue, and I had to feed her standing up in the queue. But you know what, it was perfectly fine. People were looking, but it was perfectly fine. And when I was paying, the woman was just she didn't say anything, she was looking at but she was helpful. Like she made sure that she like helped me with the bag, and like it made me feel good. Like even though it's something so simple, and it's like it makes you feel accomplished as well that you could do something like for your child at any given time.
Felly ni 'di bwydo pubs mewn mynd mas yn fwyd, fan hyn yn y Senedd fi 'di bwydo. Pob man really.
I do it all the time on the bus. I get the bus all the time. I do it all the time.
See?
And most of the time, to be quite honest, I've heard
People
like
talking.
positive feedback.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
from
good.
people be like, oh, bless you. And I've seen men just walk past and I'm like,
I honestly just don't care. I'm like, she wants feeding, I'm gonna feed her. This is my thing. Like, if you can feed a baby a bottle somewhere, then you can feed a baby a boob somewhere. Why hide?
So I think it would be good for people to see that actually no, we can breastfeed outside and it's completely normal. It's like anybody else eating.
And sometimes if we're out and people, you know, you've not had any issues, but sometimes you see the odd person that you think, well, she's just having lunch.
For me, I breastfeed him anywhere. It doesn't matter where I am. He's hungry, he eats.
Your baby has to come first, and you know, you yourself and your mental health comes first as well. Don't worry about what people think.
There's a big problem with like mental health and especially new mums' mental health. Not wanting to breastfeed in public is another thing stopping new mums from going out, and it's so important to get out and about, even if you're just going out walking, pop into a coffee shop and going home.
It's so easy to become isolated in the early days of being a mum anyway, and if you're feeling that you don't want to feed your child in public, that's just going to add to the isolation, really.
I think it was important for me to try and get that confidence, because I knew that she would need to be fed when I'm out and about. So I didn't want to feel like I had to just be at home and that was it, or I had to go and hide away somewhere to be able to feed her.
I had to wear shields from day 5 up until 7.5 months, and then 7.5 months she just decided that she didn't want the shield. And then now I can literally go out the door, not have to, because
it was something that I was quite nervous about doing, especially when they're so young, because they haven't learned how to latch properly. You're still not that confident yourself, you're still learning basically how to do it.
So as soon as you get past that awkward stage and they get older, it's just they know what they're doing, you know what you're doing, it takes a second.
That's what a lot of women are nervous for, because people talk about a lot of the negatives of breastfeeding and saying it can be a very hard journey, it can be very difficult, it might not work, but not a lot of people talk about the positives.
As someone whose body doesn't work as well as it should in lots of different ways, the fact that it works for feeding him is an immense source of pride.
I guess trust in your body and like trust that you are able to do it. I guess if my body's been able to produce 3, then surely it can feed 3.
It just makes you feel like superwoman that he's gained weight, and that's just all from what I've made.
So I'm science. I've read hundreds of articles about how good breastfeeding is, about how it's good nutritionally and psychologically and physiologically and everything else, and I've never read a single article about anything wrong with it. So we're still doing it.
A lot more just people in society need to understand that it's normal. It's not a normal thing to breastfeed. I constantly get told 6 months why I used to breastfeed in a year, and now he's 2. What the hell are you doing?
I get asked all the time, when are you going to stop breastfeeding?
Thank you.
Are you still breastfeeding? What, like from friends, from aunties, from uncles, from girls my age, from other mothers?
I was saying it to my sister as a joke the other day. She's like, when are you going to stop? I was like, in 5 years. She goes, you can't breastfeed her until Shrive, but why not? I was like, for as long as she eats, it's going to keep coming.
No, I'm quite, I'd speak my mind. If someone said to me, you shouldn't be doing that or you should cover it up, I would tell them. I would tell them all the statistics.
We have legal rights as mothers to breastfeed wherever we want, and I think most mothers don't know that, and so that's why they feel uncomfortable, like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, I'm making other people feel like this, but really you're doing something right and you have legal rights, and other people are doing something wrong if they tell you to stop or if they look at you in the wrong way.
Mothers should be given that priority of breastfeeding anywhere in the world, anywhere, wherever they feel like I'm about to breastfeed my child, they should feel comfortable.
So like if you're out and about and someone's like said something, have someone there to be like, no, go away. I think we need more partners to support it and to stand up to people.
No one's ever said anything to me or going to give me any dirty looks, but my go-to comment would be, if anyone did say something, it's going to be crying baby or baby on my boob. You decide. Because you know, that is your 2 options, people. Fi byth ti gael unrhyw un yn dweud unrhyw beth I fi. Sa'n credu bod pobl yn sylwi lot o'r amser. Felly, ni'n clywed lot o straeon negyddol yn y cyfryngau, ond i fod yn onest, fi'n credu rhan fwyaf o'r amser, pobl ddim yn sylwi. Mae'n naturiol, really, os nhw yn sylwi. Dyn nhw'n fel arfer yn dweud unrhyw beth, neu jyst yn gwenu arnoch chi.
If someone's breastfeeding in a cafe or something, it's all right to kind of look. Don't think that they're going to worry about you staring, you know. It's more obvious if you're trying to look away, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you know, smile at them and, you know, make them know that they're welcome there, breastfeeding in a public place.
I have a 6-year-old as well. By feeding him, I've encouraged some of my friends to breastfeed, and the advice that I've given to them from my experiences, they've shared back with me now with my new baby.
So I would always say to any mum who wants to breastfeed, join a forum, join a group, a support group, join something, because the amount of support you get from that is just phenomenal.
The online support can be available at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
If you post on my Breastfeeding Twins Facebook group at 4 o'clock in the morning,
there will be someone else.
You'll have 6 replies before 6 a.m.
We need to see more breastfeeding mothers on big platforms, on billboards, in adverts, on TV, on social media.
You know, something needs to change at a national level, not just in the local areas, and I think more TV campaigns and like billboard images of mothers breastfeeding to make it the norm.
We come from a society where feeding a baby should be done inside and it should be done outside. If you see a poster of a woman sat in a cafe feeding a baby, if it can just get one person to go, do you know what, it actually is normal. It is normal.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone breastfeeding even on TV shows, so yeah, I don't think there's any coverage of it in the media, and yet it's so common.
I do think this campaign could make a massive difference, because you see photos of women's breasts all the time, and I think it's really important that we see that they're not something for people to look at, they're a utility for our babies.
Breasts have been sexualised and they're not a sexual thing, they are there to feed babies. That is why women have breasts.
Totally unnecessary.
It's just not necessary to sexualise it. We've been made to think that breasts are for sex, and they're not. They're for feeding children. They're not genitals. You know, we only have one genital.
I think some people think they have the right or the ownership of women's bodies in particular to say that they can or can't do something, but it's just not the case.
We were made this way for a reason. We evolved to produce milk for our babies.
When you feed, you and your baby get a release of oxytocin, which that's the love hormone. So you feel this pulsation of love when you're feeding them.
She gets more than just nutrition from it. She gets a bond, she gets security, she feels safe, so she's more independent because she knows that security is there.
I really love the health benefits as well. That does help with a lot of it, the skin problems he had when he was really small. If I use breast milk for it, it'll just disappear. And it feels like it's nice to use something that's natural coming from me, and I feel like I'm healing it, rather than to buy something and then you're not quite sure what's in it.
Yeah, it's also like as a family we've been trying to be more like eco-sustainable, and obviously I'm not saying if you formula feed a baby it's bad for the environment, but obviously there's naturally less waste when you breastfeed.
It is a very personal thing, and if you're absolutely adamant you don't want to, there's no point trying to guilt trip someone into it, because they've got that right to choose.
But also knowing that if you have to use a bottle, either with Express or a formula, that's okay as well.
I know not everyone can breastfeed, and it is each to own, but the more people find it more socially acceptable, I think it'll get a high rate of it.
It's changing it for generations to come as well. Like, our little boy knows exactly what it is I'm doing. Like, he understands. He understands all about that. And if a child asks me, I think I've been at a friend's house before, and her little boy said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I've explained to him, that's normal, a normal response.
I've never actually seen anybody out feeding too, and the first time I did actually go out feeding, I was still a bit nervous, even though I'd been breastfeeding. It's because he's so much bigger and she's small. People kind of are getting used to seeing a smaller one feeding, but when there's two and one's bigger, it's like, oh, what are you doing?
People can't change their views without seeing it.
But if we are there to not to judge them, but actually to support them and respect the decision that they've made, and that will make the society a lot more positive about how we raise our child, including how we want to feed our child.
Yeah, just being a bit more honest and having more support and understanding how important it is to support a woman's decision to breastfeed. She should be empowered to feed for as long as she wants to feed. It's just about society needs to support this and needs to recognise. Yeah, it's education.
I think it's all fundamentally education.
So coming from a perspective of a teacher, I think going forward, teaching in schools in biology, because it's part of biology, we learn about pregnancy, we learn about like the development of like human beings and anatomy. Why don't we learn about breastfeeding as well? Has anybody ever been taught that at school? No, I've never been taught that.
I know a lot of young people that didn't even try it, and I want people to realise that it's normal and everybody, most variety of people do it.
Yeah.
And it is fine to do it in public. I don't want people to feel like embarrassed or awkward, because it's like the most natural thing in the world.
You need support, that's what you need, and it's support from, if you have a partner, then definitely from him or her, and then if you don't have a partner, you need to be surrounded by people who are positive about breastfeeding.
See, I don't think about it because I see Chaya doing it all the time. But maybe women should just get out there and do it and not worry about it. And guys like me should be really positive.
I don't find a toilet secretly to breastfeeding. I don't go under, my jacket and hide. I breastfeed publicly.
You'll never regret trying. You'll only regret not trying.
Just do it. Do it. You won't regret it.
Just do it. Do it, and don't cover yourself up with shawls and all that kind of thing. Just lift your top up and do it.